Yo ho ho, Bills Mafia. Welcome to yet another edition of the Dom Mafia Show. As always, your host, Dan Mitchell. Say that you're new here. I'm an avid member of the Bills Mafia, and I regularly put out videos about the Buffalo Bills and the NFL. Say that that's your cup of tea. I highly recommend subscribing to this channel, and as always, smashing the ever-living out of that like button. Full transparency. When it comes to college football, I don't know. Growing up north, it was always NFL, 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 and then I moved down south, and all my southern friends are like, man, what the hell you mean you don't watch college football, man? Go Cox. But for some reason, outside of the first round prospects, and I'm even talking about like halfway through the first round, maybe even a quarter, I really don't know a lot. I don't really follow college football, so I'm just so crazy about how the Bills are doing. So each and every single offseason, when it comes to anything prospects, this is when I start doing my research, right? I start learning about some of the potential fits based off of the holes the Buffalo Bills have. And we're going to do this research together during this video right now, ladies and gentlemen. I just so happened to run across an article from Matt Perino at Syracuse.com. And that article just so happens to be 7 draft prospects that must be on the Buffalo Bills fans' radar during NFL Scouting Combine this week. Now, this is something I do watch, but like I said, in my mind, I'm just seeing a bunch of randoms running 40s and trying to bench press 225 as much as they possibly can. And so he ended up putting together a super descriptive article about some of these guys based off of our holes. And I ended up doing my own research on these guys, and I'm going to give you my takes on what I think, how they would fit this offense or defense, etc. So by the way, I am going to leave Matt Perino's link in my bio in case you wanted to check that article out yourself. Now, the first prospect on the board was a wide receiver out of Michigan State, Jaden Reed. Now, this man stands at about 5'11" and 190 pounds, and according to a couple of analysts, he has very Stephon Diggs-like characteristics. And so he's a very good route runner, and he is amazing when it comes to yards after the catch. Both things the Buffalo Bills wide receiving core has been missing ever since prime Cole Beasley ended up leaving this organization. As of now, it is only Stephon Diggs. So a pure route runner would be ideal. This guy is not going to be in the first round, 110%, but a lot of people are anticipating that he is going to fall to the second. Say the Buffalo Bills get to that part and they want to invest in this wide receiver. I think that this would be a tremendous move, but it all depends on who exactly we go for in the first. Maybe it's going to be O'Cyrus Torrence, or maybe it might just be John Robinson. Don't kill me. I want that guy really bad. But regardless, still a wide receiver to watch when wide receivers come up during this week at the Combine. This next player on Matt Marino's list was Jack Campbell, a linebacker out of Iowa. Now, everyone has heard the debate that the Buffalo Bills are broke. So as far as bringing back some of our high-ticket players, it's either going to be Jordan Poyer or it's going to be Tremaine Edmunds. It is not going to be both. And there's even a possibility that we don't get either of them. Say that Edmunds is a casualty to our cap this year. He ends up finding a new home elsewhere. This guy right here could be a tremendous fit in. Somebody that could legitimately step in day one. I think that this would be wonderful because he does bring to the table the ability to be super wildly effective in pass coverage. I mean, imagine having a linebacker room with Matt Milano and this guy, a guy that can legitimately start day one and just be absolute animals when it comes down into pass coverage. Now that we are in a pass-first sort of NFL. It's me personally, I'm very excited to see this guy's combine. I want to see whether or not that he would be able to make a fit into this defense. And so, however, as you've heard me say before, I think Edmunds is going to be on this team next year. I think that if Bean had to choose between Poyer or Edmunds, he's going to choose Edmunds. However, say that there's an alternative reality out there, this guy would 1,000% be on Brandon Bean's draft board. This next person on the list was Jared Patterson, an interior offensive lineman out of Notre Dame. This guy was a longtime Notre Dame starter, and there's mixed reviews on this guy right now. And so he's super athletic, something that our offensive line coach absolutely loves, but he's, in my opinion, really not NFL ready. He needs to put on a lot of weight so that he'll be able to compete against NFL-sized defensive lines, but this could be somebody that we could realistically take a look at. Especially say, for example, that Osiris Torrance does not fall to us in the first, or say, for example, that we pass up on him on the first. This might be something that the Buffalo Bills take a look at in the second or the third. I think his placement in the draft is likely and largely going to depend on how he performs during this combine. So stay tuned there. Yo.
The Outer Banks. Paradise on Earth. That's me. John Booker Rutledge.
Next person on the list was Jair Brown. Now, there's no question that Jordan Poyer is not coming back to this team. I mean, after you watch all of these podcasts about how he wants to go to a state where they don't take half of his money, where he would like to be somebody warm, all signs are pointing the direction that he's not going to be on this team. So a safety is probably going to be something that we're going to be looking for. With Damar Hamlin, we don't know if he's going to come back. I mean, he literally ended up having a life-altering accident back in January, so who knows whether or not that he's going to come back. Will he be the same? Safety's going to be on our radar. It really is, because when you look at our depth, we need some help in that department. Yes, Micah Hyde is going to be back. However, we need to fill in this role. Now, Brown out of Penn State, I hate comparisons, but this one guy said that he reminds him a lot of Jordan Poyer, and that just has to do with the fact that he has the ability, he's versatile enough, and so to play free or strong safety, smart football player, he plays the box really well, so this guy could also be on the Buffalo Bills radar, all depending on what happens during free agency. Next up on the list was a gentleman by the name of Parker Washington, yet another wide receiver out of Penn State. Now, there really wasn't a lot of analysis on this one. I tried doing a bit more research on this. However, it seems that several analysts think that he would be a bit more complimentary to Stephon Diggs. And like I said, I hate comparisons, but they're trying to say that he slightly compares the Deebo Samuel, right? And so, but definitely keep an eye on him during the combine. I certainly know that I will. And so the next two guys on the list was Diane Henley, a linebacker out of Washington State, and Kayvon Merriweather, a safety out of Iowa. You're seeing the trend right here, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking to fill in the specific gaps where the Buffalo Bills currently are. Nobody's listing running back. It's pissing me off. All of you want to rip my throat out every single year when I say that we need a running back. Oh, Dan, why would we waste a draft pick on a running back that early? Because how has it gone for us so far, ladies and gentlemen? How has it gone for us? Okay, you know what? Whatever. I'm going to step off my soapbox here for a second. However, like I said, that article is in my description in case you want to go on ahead and show him some love, let him know how much you loved it. And so you want to do some more research yourself, knock yourself out. Do me a favor, leave a comment on who are some of the players that you are going to be religiously watching during the combine. And so tell me players that you think could realistically fall to us the first, second, third, fourth, and so on. Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another edition of the Dom Mafia Show. And before I let you go, you better always remember, let's go Buffalo.